National Park, literally butting right up next to the national park. Like, it's literally right there. And there's this amazing little cabin that is being rented out here, so you can actually come and stay here right next to the park. I'm so excited to show you this place and tell you the story of the owners who own it, so you can know a little bit more about how they even scored this gem of a property. Hello and welcome to the Wanderlust host channel. My name is Olivia Tati and I am a short-term rental specialist and world traveler on a mission to inspire you to invest in real estate and travel the world. My goal is to build a community of like-minded millennials who have spent years stifling their creativity, break free, and take control over their lives. So before I show you around the property, I want to introduce you to Lindsey, who is the owner and manager of this property. And her story is super awesome and inspiring, and I'm sure it's probably going to inspire some of you guys to think creatively and do something similar. But first, if you like this video and other videos that I've created where I show you cool short-term rentals around the world, make sure to actually hit that like and subscribe button and the little bell notification button. It really helps my channel grow, and I can keep showing you even more super dope properties. This Shenandoah place is literally located right next to the national park. You can start hiking really close by. And the way she actually found the property was super interesting too. She happened to find this cabin on Facebook Marketplace. So the next place naturally was finding a place to put it.
So I actually was looking at a separate property, same town, and we kind of realized that that one maybe was going to be too big of a project for the investor that we had lined up. So we asked the realtor if she knew of any land that was coming up for sale with a well and septic, because we hadn't seen any in quite a while, like just empty land that was already improved. And it just so happened that this was being listed about 7 days later. So there used to be a mobile home here, and it was since moved, so there was already the well, already a 2-bedroom septic, which is perfect.
For any new development or glamping site, that's the goal. If you already have sewer, water, and utilities in place, that's half the battle done. It will save you so much money and make your returns a lot better. It just makes your life in general so much easier.
So the land itself, we actually got a land loan, so that came appraised at $72,000. So it was listed at 79, and the seller actually agreed to come down. So that was spectacular. That's always a good thing. And we only had to cover about 20% down. So that was that much cost up front. And then the cabin itself was $50,000. And then with all the furnishings and everything added to the cost of the down payment, we're in at about $110, all in cash.
So let's check out the grounds, shall we? So as Lindsey said, this property used to have a mobile home on it. So it already came with sewerage and water and hookups and utilities, which is a huge time and money saver when thinking where to place a cabin or a glamp site or a unique structure. Because then you don't have to go through the development process. They were also able to put in an awesome hot tub so you can sit and soak in the views. And then there's this cool fire pit area too for you to gaze and watch the stars. And it's just so private, so you really feel like you have the national park all to yourself. Okay, so this spot literally right on the edge of the national park, and it's a $110,000 investment. How much does this cute little cabin actually make?
So I was estimating conservatively that we'll bring in about $5,000 a month. So like $60,000 for the year. That I believe we'll exceed that, but that was kind of just what we based everything off of when we were deciding how much to spend and, you know, what the recoup time will be for that initial investment, which wasn't my money, by the way. This was a joint venture, so I'm bringing in all the work, did all the design, and I run the thing, and then my partner brought in all of that capital that we mentioned earlier.
So that's $5,000 a month of income, which is pretty darn good for your little tiny home. But as we know in real estate, there are various expenses that you need to take into account. And if you haven't already watched my video that goes through the expenses you need to take into account when buying a short-term rental, make sure to go back and watch that video. And I'll also put it in the caption notes.
Monthly payment right now for the land loan is somewhere between $300 and $400. Yeah, so cheap.
So good.
So good.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's not bad at all. The internet is actually about the same because the satellite internet in the rural Virginia is quite expensive, and you want to pay for a better package so that you actually get decent signal so that people can stream, maybe do a little bit of work. I do encourage people, if they have an important call, to take it in town somewhere because it can be a little bit unstable based on the weather. But so that's about $300 a month. We are all electric here. There is propane for the water heater. That's just something that you refill as needed. It's not like a utility bill. And then the water comes from a well, so there's no water bill. So it's pretty simple. So just to give you an idea for the first month, looking at February, the first full month live, we're at about 86% occupancy, and this is our off season, and we're sitting at about 208 for the days that we've sold. For peak season, I'm expecting closer to 95% occupancy and probably closer to 300 to 350 a night. Just because it does have the tiny house aspect going for it, and that I think is going to put it on a category page, so it's probably going to take off at some point.
So that's cash flowing at $4,000 a month. That's $48,000 a year. And that's the beautiful thing about unique properties like cabins or glamping site. People are gonna pay a premium to stay at those unique properties. Well, now let's go check out the inside of this Facebook Marketplace unique cabin. This cabin is in great shape, especially for a Facebook Marketplace find. Lindsay and her team had to do pretty minimal work to get it up and ready to go. They put in this adorable fireplace that's just so cozy and perfect for the space, and putting some extra shelvings and trinkets, but overall it was in pretty good condition. It's a 1-bedroom cabin that is a perfect place for a couple or some friends to come and spend some time outdoors in nature. Lindsay really did a great job finding this place on Facebook Marketplace, and then also being connected to realtors and people in the area. Now, not only that, but she did a great job fixing it up, making sure to include the right amenities needed to compete in this market, like a hot tub, the fire pit, and getting it up, ready, and cash flowing. So let's actually hear from Lindsay how she even got into short-term rentals in the first place.
So I first stayed in a short-term rental in 2016. I already knew that I wanted to buy real estate. I knew I wanted to be a landlord at least, because that's kind of what everyone's familiar with, but staying in that Airbnb really changed my mindset. I realized that you can really offer a very unique thing to people in some really awesome destinations, and I know that I would like to own places and be able to travel there myself and save that, basically have it pay for itself so I can go and visit wherever I want. From a business standpoint, it didn't make sense to start by just seeking out places that I want to go because I didn't have that kind of capital, but I identified this market, the Shenandoah Valley, that had really high returns and great cash flow and a pretty decent like entry level pricing on a lot of the properties. Like, you don't have to buy a $500,000 property to make a good amount of money, and obviously you can buy more of them, and then you're spreading your risk out by doing so. So that really intrigued me. I watched a lot of Raw Built's content, so that greatly influenced me from shifting from thinking about doing long-term rentals into doing short-term rentals more quickly than I thought I would be able to. It seemed like a pie in the sky thing, but then when you sit down and with the math, it actually makes more sense to buy a short-term rental than it does a small apartment building. So that very heavily influenced that decision. I just decided to jump in. I started looking. I was also looking for small multifamilies at the same time, but there were more opportunities here, and it just made sense.
Real estate investing and understanding how to leverage your time and your money can completely change someone's life, and that's exactly what it did for Lindsay.
So I was actually able to quit my job. So I was an engineer, and then I took a sales job I was going to do sales engineering at a software company. And I was actually able to walk away from all of it and just focus on doing this full time. So that obviously had a pretty big impact. I'm now a full-time entrepreneur, and I've learned a lot about business in general. So I think that short-term rentals are going to be my bread and butter for a good long while, full-time. So I was already in this state of Virginia, so I still have my social life very accessible to me, but I'm able to come out here and run a business, and actually started a second business doing management for other people. So I think that's something I'll be able to scale very quickly, which is going to very much change the income game and what I'm able to buy, and that's changed who I'm able to meet, such as you, and I'm just making all these like-minded friends, and it's just been really just a wonderful experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So the other way that short-term rentals greatly impacted my life is it bled over into my family. So my family is why I knew about real estate to start. My dad flipped houses when I was growing up, and that really impacted me. And he also had a business, so it always set business in my mind. And unfortunately, his business went under during the recession in 2008. So at the beginning of 2022, my dad was actually able to quit his job and come to work with me full-time doing this. And that meant a lot more to me than being able to quit my own job, because it's so good to watch him be able to be just self-sufficient and working for himself again. That's been amazing.
Really just such an incredible story and an incredible find from Lindsey. And if you're looking to connect with her, she actually also does short-term rental property management in the Shenandoah Valley area. So make sure to connect with her on Instagram. I'll make sure to include it in my captions. And also go and check out her website if you don't have Instagram or social media. Don't forget, if you like this kind of content and want me to put more cool short-term rentals out there around the world, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps grow my channel and just get the word out there to more people. That's all I have for you. We actually just got under contract on another short-term rental here outside of Shenandoah National Park, so I'll make sure to include that whole process on my YouTube channel.